Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'll be watching with you this video on CNA Insider which talks about investing for retirement. And not only that, I'll be sharing with you my insights as to how you can actually do CPF shielding a little bit better. I'll be giving you a full tutorial on that portion. Which funds to choose exactly, because I've seen this question come up quite a lot of times already. So with that, let's roll in the video.
Hello, my name is Rosalind. I am 54 years old. I'm married with a 21-year-old son who just entered university. I've actually worked for 20 years in a corporate job and retired. Right now, I'm doing what I love to do, which is teaching people how to leverage on social media technology to build a business.
Hi Rosalind, now if you're interested in teaching social media, look for me, man. I'm also keen on this field. Let's dive back to today's case. Rosalind is 54 years old and she is retired. Wow, fantastic. It's largely because she probably had a very successful 20-year corporate job. So keep that in mind. If you work your way, you build your career well, it will take care of you, especially if you have saved and invested well.
Something like downgrading is actually a very trendy thing for retirement people in Singapore. Yeah, as grown up in university, a smaller place, I used to travel every single month, and so therefore traveling is very important. So I'm thinking about maybe downsizing my big apartment to something more manageable.
Okay, I think that's very true. House should always fit our requirements. When they are kids, you need a bigger space. But when kids are bigger, they are in university, like for our case, or married out, then maybe a big house with 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms is not really necessary. So downgrading actually fits a different lifestyle. I do believe the house can be changed at different life stages. I'm a believer of that.
Hi Rosalind. Hello. So great to see you. Welcome to DBS Bank. We'll talk about your finances and I'm happy to share some tips with you.
Okay, wait, please. Sure. Thank you. The first question is really about the CPF part. Like I understand that when you turn 55, you could withdraw a certain amount of money.
It's very good that you're asking this question.
Okay, Lorna Tan. Lorna used to be on Straits Times, if I'm not wrong, correct?
Because it's on a lot of Singaporeans, CPF members' minds. What happens when I turn 55? Should I withdraw or should I leave it there? So first question is, do I need to withdraw and why do I want to withdraw?
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they withdraw, they end up putting it into the bank.
Now, Lorna works with DBS, which is a bank, and she's very kindly said that also, if you withdraw from CPF and put it in a bank, it does not make sense.
Which the interest is like
very low, yeah. So it's earning peanuts. So you might as well leave the money in the CPF accounts, right? If you have no use for it. After all, it could be like your ATM, right? After 55, you can withdraw anytime.
Now, so let me give you a case study. If your OA and SA, when you reach 55, is at 286,000, and the full retirement sum is 186,000, you can actually withdraw out the excess, this $100,000. Now, there's also another scheme, which is the BRS, Basic Retirement Sum, which is half of the amount. And as of 2021, it's $93,000. Now, some have asked on this channel, should they take the Basic Retirement Sum and take out more money? I think it's something echoed. If you take out the money, what are you going to get invested into? Because there are not many safe instruments that pay anywhere close to what CPF is giving in terms of interest. So when it comes to this Basic Retirement Sum, it means you have to pledge your house and then you can take out more cash potentially. But I guess the only situations whereby you should entertain that, if you have enough finances, is if your kids need money for overseas education. If not, aim for a full retirement sum, or if not, the enhanced retirement sum, which I believe should be covering on a lot more intensively.
So when you turn 55, the first 30,000 will earn 6% per annum.
Oh, that sounds good.
That sounds good, right? The next 30,000 will earn 5%, and the remaining amount will earn 4%.
I think let's pause it right there. This portion, CPF interest rate for those above 55, this amount is referring only to your special MediSave and retirement account. The title should be changed a bit.
So understanding that these are the rates that you can get from your CPF accounts, and if you think you don't have use for it, or you don't think you can invest and still beat at least 2.5%, then I advise you to leave it there. At least leave your special account money there. Your OA, maybe you can still consider investing if you wish.
Okay, maybe I'll pause it right there. If you're above 55, I think it doesn't quite make sense if you leave your OA there and then you invest your OA. You might as well take out your OA and then invest it as cash. Few simple reasons. When you invest as cash, you have a lot more instruments. A lot of funds open up to you. Under the CPF OA, CPF investment scheme, the fund restriction is there and there are less choices. Secondly, if you want to invest into overseas shares, you need to invest in terms of cash. Cannot be through CPF OA.
Yeah, so maybe I share you what I did when I turned 55 in the year 2019. Yeah, my strategy, I call it the special account shielding strategy. So I'm shielding it from the CPF board before they can take it.
Okay.
So what I did was I invested under the CPF investment scheme.
CPF investment.
I invested in a safe bond fund. So I did this like a few weeks before I turned 55. Then I turned 55. Then of course I see my retirement account being created, and then I see the money flowing from my special account going there, from my ordinary account to my retirement account.
Okay, I'll pause it right there. How does the retirement account work? Let me reinforce again. Is that it flows firstly from your special account to your retirement account. That's why the CPF shielding actually works, because you take the monies out from CPF SA, move it outside, so that less is drawn from CPF special account and more, the remaining, is drawn from your OA, which gives you only 2.5%. So this is the whole topic about CPF shielding. I'll leave links below as well as links at the end of the video.
Okay. So it's a full retirement sum. Then a few days later, I sold off that bond fund, and then the funds plus the profit moved to the special account, and now it stays there and it's earning 4%. Buy one that's liquid and has quality, so the value doesn't drop suddenly.
So liquidity as well as low risk.
Yes.
Okay, I think she hasn't given any names as to what to invest into. Maybe I'll give you some names to help you understand what are your possible options, because ultimately you have to invest. And again, if you're not sure, look for a qualified advisor. So I've actually prepared this for you. So how actually it works is, if you use any platform, this is what I'm using from iFast, you can actually filter for those that are funds that are qualified with CPF special account scheme. And what we can see over there is you can actually typically filter based on risk. The idea that Lorna is suggesting is go with the low risk fund, simply because you don't want to lose capital while just moving monies outside and then eventually moving back in. So it's a very temporary measure. You want to protect that capital. So let me highlight a few funds for you to see. Over here, I've selected 5 funds, and you can see over there, these are typically lower risk funds, but also within the low risk space, the performance is also different. You look at the 1-year performance, you realize that, for example, these 2 funds, the Manulife one as well as the eSpring one, they, although are rated lower risk, they also plunged severely during the March 2020 crisis. What I'm suggesting is, when you look for funds, look for those that are not only low risk but also short duration. So if there's interest rate changes, not too bad, not too affected. So if we filter back, these are the 3 remaining names that maybe you can strongly consider. The Lion Global short duration bond, as well as the Nikko AM Shenton short duration bond, and United SGD fund. These 3 funds, while they lost a little bit during the March 2020 crisis, the loss was very minimal. So if you can hold for a little bit more, they actually do recover. So it suits for CPF shielding.
So that's how now I created like 2 high yielding accounts, right? Because my retirement account is earning the 6%, 5%, 4%, and then the special account is earning 4%.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, understand.
Okay, the retirement account, what I did, I even went ahead to top it up further to the enhanced retirement sum.
Oh, yeah. Enhanced retirement sum.
So in the retirement account, there are like 3 retirement sums, but you can park any amount. Of course, the cap is the enhanced retirement sum. I already checked CPF board. If I religiously, top up my CPF RA every year up to the enhanced retirement sum for that year every year, the lady told me she calculated it's 2,300 per month.
Yes, I was told that you would have this sum coming in.
Yes, every month for the rest of your life.
And there's always this question about downsizing.
I would assume that if you're doing a downgrading, probably there's enough spare cash after that.
Yes.
And then the decision is yours, because the home loan rates are actually quite low now, 1+, less than 1. So you actually have a choice of not paying up in full, for the next house, but to actually take a loan and then invest it if you know what to do with it.
Now let's pause it right there. So what Lorna has suggested is, if Rosalind knows what to do with it, then maybe a loan would free up cash for Rosalind to go and invest. Now I'll add on a few key parts. The first is that for a retiree, maybe it's not a very good idea to do stock picking, simply because when you buy a stock of a particular company, it can still become zero. Some of the blue chips have become zero. So the better way maybe is to invest broad-based, have it diversified, have it professionally managed. At least you know it's just dependent on market trends, market forces. It will not become zero. As a retiree, you don't have too many years to recover, especially if the portfolio takes big hits. So go with that slow and steady mindset. The other thing to get invested is to look for annuities, any that pays above the current mortgage rate, which there are in the market. So if you look and source correctly, you can potentially invest to annuities and have the leverage working in your favor. And anytime the leverage works against you, be ready to pay it off. Now the other thing also that Lorna has suggested in that loan that maybe she hasn't considered too well is that Rosalind is a retiree. So I'm not too sure if she has income to back that mortgage loan application or not. Or maybe some banks allow her to pledge assets as collateral. But using that as an example for you to understand is that if you are a retiree, your income will allow you to qualify for a loan, and that don't qualify for loan too late in life also, simply because there's 2 parts to qualifying. First is the income, Second is the age. So if you're looking for a new house, don't change it too late in years or so. That's what I'm mainly suggesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you might want to get the surplus and put it back into your CPF and make sure you max out your enhanced retirement sum.
Okay, it's pumping money back into CPF again through enhanced retirement sum. Now, that actually makes sense. I don't dispute that. But let me round up today's discussion with a few key parts. Especially for Rosalind's case, where she's considering downgrading her house. It makes a lot of sense for a retiree. Something you can consider for yourself. And what are key benefits? Firstly, you unlock a lot of cash from your property, correct? Now, when you unlock cash, when you downsize, this free cash, you can actually build up your own retirement nest egg. You get it invested or you pump it by CPF, you have more cash flow. Because a property, you cannot consume it. So do consider downsizing. The other part about it is you actually save on ongoing costs. Now, if you are staying in a private property that is older, you should know that the maintenance cost has been climbing, correct? There's sinking fund costs, maintenance charges, and that over time, this is not going to go down. And if you move to a new property, you actually save on your monthly maintenance costs. So it makes a lot of sense. Or if you downgrade to HDB, even better. You know, most of the conservancy charges are very little as compared to a private property. And you know, if you buy a HDB that's near your kid, you can even qualify for proximity housing grants. Terms and conditions apply, but that is also another viable option. And then last but not least, when you downgrade for your old age, you buy a new flat, you can actually do renovations again. You can prepare for your old age. Do you want steps in your house? Because previously your house may have steps. Maybe steps are not good for old age. Do you want to be near a lift landing? Previously, if your level doesn't have lift landing, then maybe a lift landing makes sense. Or do you again want to be near MRT or near NTUC FairPrice, whereby it makes it a lot easier for your day-to-day for old age? So these are key considerations. If you have questions or comments, leave them below. I'll be keen to hear from you also. If that, let me introduce you to a previous video I've done before on CPF shielding. And that really explains further on what Lorna has mentioned about moving your special accounts out so that you optimize how much you can get in terms of CPF interest. With that, introducing you to that previous video, I'll see you there. Take care and goodbye.